What's going on out there, everybody? We are back for another after show of Euphoria. This is season 2. I have all the hosts back from last week, and we are excited to talk about episode 2 of Euphoria. So let's give everybody a huge welcome. First up on deck, what's going on, Nat?
Hi.
Thanks for coming. You're excited?
Yeah, Nate's crazy. And what is going on with Cassie? Like, baby girl, what you doing?
Yo, we're gonna get into it for sure. And go, what's going on, my brother?
Great, man. That new intro, man. What you trying to do? I was in the mood. I was hearing that music. Like, the way you edited that, I was ready for another show. We gotta talk about that. Let me get straight real quick. All
Hey,
right.
look, that was a little surprise for you guys, and I got a lot more coming. But thanks for coming, brother. Last but not least, got my man of the hour, Jor-Els. What's going on, man?
Yo, what's going on? I am ready for another discussion about this crazy ass show.
Yeah, this is Jor-Els' actual face right now. He went into full makeup and he was like, "This is my favorite character. I'm going for it." Nah, I'm just joking. But yeah, so yeah, we're about to just go ahead and get into it and vibe out. We're gonna try to keep this as short as possible, but if we go a little bit longer, we apologize. We want to give you guys an opportunity. Make sure you leave us comments, because even though this is technically pre-recorded, we will be in the chat talking with you guys live if you guys are at the premiere. So yeah, so what do we think about the episode, everybody? Unanimously.
Crazy.
Oh boy. It definitely.
I'm concerned. I have concerns.
Anxiety is a good.
That's right. I think that's a perfect. I think it's a perfect telling for this.
Yeah, I don't know if it was as good as the
intro, the first episode?
the sort of insane first episode, but it's not bad.
Yeah,
not bad.
It didn't miss a beat. It didn't like feel like filler. It's just, I think the thing about it for me with this episode is that the implications of what's going on in this episode, like Nat said, I'm concerned. I'm concerned for everybody, and it kind of centers around this madman right here, this teenage Lex Luthor himself. Nate survived. Like, he survived the beat down of the century. And this is the crazy thing. I don't even know if this man allowed that to happen, if he intentionally did it just to plot. I don't know what Nate is capable of, honestly. And you know, Cass and Maddie, you know, and Chris, wherever the heck Chris went, they all escorted him to the hospital. And in the hospital, this man is going through in his mind, you know, a life with Cassie. And at the same time, he's whittling through all the things that he has done leading up to this moment. And one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I was curious y'all's perspective, is I felt like that sequence up until he started convulsing and just like his body was just shaking and messing up, because I think his dad was praying for him at the time. And it's all of a sudden like his body just went into complete shock. And you see all this different imagery. And I felt like the way that they edited that and the imagery side of it, it was probably one of the most disturbing things and introductions of a second episode I've seen in a very long time. But I was curious y'all's perspective on it.
Anybody? It was crazy. I mean, Nate's just crazy in general. I thought it was interesting how he contrasted Cassie and Maddie. It's kind of like a light and dark. Ironically, their hair is light and dark, and and colorism is playing a part here, because you got white, blonde, perfect, right? Maddie's like the toxic part that he doesn't want to really mess with, even though he's still attracted to her, and she's like Hispanic, and so it's just that low key racism. I wouldn't call it racism, but definitely a racial bias. And it may have been unintentional on his part, but that's the implication.
Right.
And I don't like that, because Maddie has issues, yes, but to say that she's like this like devil on his side is kind of like wrong too, because he still does not take responsibility for his actions. Like,
Right.
yes, we get like a montage of him imagining this life with Cassie. And even that's crazy because he doesn't like his dad. In
Right.
fact, as part of that montage, we see him, you know, imagining a situation where his dad is like low-key doing weird things with Cassie. Like, he's just crazy. And the fact that he's saying he's in love with her, since when?
Right.
You barely even noticed her until now, only because she, you know, accepted your manipulation. That is the only reason why you love this chick right now. And you were still manipulating her. You saw it throughout this episode.
Yep. Yep. It was all part of the plan. We don't know what that plan actually is. But yeah, no, so when we were looking at it, you know, and doing the run through, like, I was kind of like, does he really actually find her fascinating because it's somebody that he can control? Does he like that she isn't necessarily as toxic as Maddie and she's very different? Or is it a combination of all three that he's also using her like a weapon? Because, again, I don't know what his game plan is, but there's something too, when he was in the hospital, he was talking to Maddie and Maddie was freaking out like, no, you can't leave me, yada, yada. And he was like, it's okay, I'll be able to see you like next week. And he's sitting there scrolling through a construction site. And I was like, what the heck is he doing that for? And then later on, he just happens to stop at the construction site. It was like, oh, we can't be together anymore. And she runs off and then they go and have sex at the construction. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like some of this is very much so intentional. And then another part of it, his brain wants to control somebody. And another part might actually find her attractive. But the sick part is that the person that he's probably most attracted to, that he wants to actually get with, is Jules. But he's so sick that he's pushed her away out of his own hatred of his own self. And I think that's what makes him so fascinating as a character. But I apologize. Nick, Ant, what were you about to say?
Oh, I think some of the things you hit in it said were really on the head, both of y'all, about the manipulation part. I think that we have to look at it from his perspective that control is a big thing with him, right?
Yeah.
So these good or bad things aren't necessarily about the other people. It's about him. He's lost control with Maddie, right? He can't manipulate her the same way because she has something over him. Right. And so you have this she takes on the evil role. Cassie, he's manipulate, play with, things like that, and she goes, "Oh, the pure Madonna role," right? Because he can still easily manipulate her. And I think you're right. That whole construction thing was a setup. I wouldn't be surprised there was cameras or something. There's some other thing going on there. But I think that control is a big thing. And I don't think he let the beatdown happen. But I think his personality type lets him, all right, how can I use this to my advantage? How can I turn whatever situation I'm in to my advantage? And so sometimes that means being a bully, sometimes means being a victim. Sometimes that means, oh, but I did this for you. Like, there's so many different layers to what's going on. And a lot of it comes from his own fears and how he feels secure. Right. And that's control. So he has some control over his dad now, with whether it's guilt and knowing your secret. He has control over Cassie because, oh, we have another secret. Like, if I tell Maddie about this, you lose your best friend. But I know you want me because you want acceptance and attention. Maddie's the person that he can't control right now because she has something over him. So it's easy to imagine this other life, but still have that like you said with his father, how he imagined his father kind of low-key sexually harassing in a way, or getting too touchy. And then, am I wrong to remember that he imagined him having a heart attack after that?
Yeah, he did. Like same as that dream sequence. I don't know how you remember that, Ant. Good, you got a good memory. But yeah, he legit kind of had a moment right after that. And again, all this is happening in his mind while his dad just kind of praying for him, and he's just thinking in his head all these different things. And it's like, to your point, and like a part of that probably is for him, it's like, well, no, my dad is gonna want what I have. I got something good, so he's gonna take it away from me, you know, kind of thing. Yeah, I agree. I think a big part of it is all about control. And there's only a few people that he doesn't have control over. And maybe Rue a little bit, but I would definitely say right now, Maddie for sure. Jor-Els, what is your thoughts on the Nate situation?
The Nate situation. I mean, I guess in regards to Cassie, I mean, I think he definitely finds her attractive, for one. I'm sure he's certainly is physically into her, at least, but I don't think he has a lot of genuine empathy or emotions for anyone, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't truly have feelings for almost anything. I'm pretty sure any spotlight he has on Maddie or Jules or Cassie is coming from a very psychopathic nature. It's not coming from something genuine. Like what Jules and Rue have is genuine. It's just, it's just not meant to last beyond like 48 hours. So, but yeah, I'm not sure what I can add beyond that from what you. Well, other than that, I will say the construction site thing. Now that you guys mention it, Nate probably did have some kind of like arbitrary, like little voice recorder somewhere, like duct tape to the back of some some piece of wood nearby where they were fooling around. So, but yeah, I don't think he really has true empathy personally.
If he had a camera, though, I feel like he wouldn't know exactly where she would run to.
Where she was going to run. But didn't he stop the car? Did he stop the car in a particular spot?
He may have stopped the car.
So
but
I think that too, because she ran in a certain direction. How would he know what house he went to?
Yeah.
He went to, but
it's. I mean, the weird thing is he knew exactly where she went to, and it was like she had a good lead on him. And I don't. I was like that. I mean, I don't know if that's just. I don't know, but. To me, I feel like this is all about the disc. All this is a play about getting the disc. Because the last thing that was said was the dad, like he sit there and spent that thing like he basically said, well, because you did something against Jules, Rue told her drug dealer friend and they don't like you messing with young little girls, and that's how this happened versus what really happened. He spent it in the worst way possible on his dad. But the last thing dad said was, do you have the disc? And at first time I watched this episode, I was kind of like, oh man, like he didn't say anything because it's kind of like, oh man, I don't have the disc. But he used that as leverage. He's like, oh no, don't worry about it. This is all part of the plan. That's the way I felt about it. I think like what's going on with Cassie is eventually is going to lead up to him getting the disc back. I don't really know why or how, but
yeah,
that's
like
the main part.
Agreed.
Yeah,
definitely.
Like, Cassie, do you know where she keeps this? Have you ever heard of like can you cop that for me real quick? And then we can be together. Right. What is this? Does anybody remember what his dad does? I know his dad's connected, right? They make it seem like he's a connected person in that community. But remember, anybody knows
he has
what he does?
ownership of the town. Have a big ownership of certain businesses in the town, if I'm not mistaken.
So you have a low to mid-level drug dealer kid, and you have the person that controls a lot of influence in the town. And now you've told him that the drug dealer kid has stuff on you or knows things about you. You're a guy in power. What is your response? And I know we were all worried about a certain scene, but that might not actually be how a person like him would react to a situation. There's much other ways to ruin a person, especially when you make it easy, depending on your life choices, to be ruined. That's what makes it dangerous for me,
right?
In that situation.
Right.
Can we talk about Daddy for a second? Are we going to get to the scene where he went to Fez's place and then Lexi was there and him trying to act like he basing it someone when really he just
so
like what was the purpose? Like what?
So I think this is my take on it. I think that in his head, and Nate, he definitely pushed it because he could have said, no, don't say nothing. Wait until whatever. But he pushed it and allowed his dad to get enough of a grasp at Cassie to reveal, who it was. And I think that his dad was like, oh, shoot, man, I don't know who this kid is, but I'm going to scare him. In his head, it's about control. He's trying to intimidate this guy that he has no idea what he's about. And he went there. He had a gun. He had a gun in the glove compartment. But I think the moment where he saw Lexi there, and then he saw another girl there, he knew that the situation was out of his control, but he tried to stunt and be like, "Oh, I'm a concerned father." But realistically, if he would have made a play and Lexi was there, he's already got way too much heat on him as it is. And technically, you know, Cassie is Lexi's sister. So it's like there's way too much connected that he was like, it's way too much heat here. It's not, he may have went with the intent, like, I'm gonna do something, but then the moment that Lexi was there, he was scoping the place out. I think that was what scared him. Like, he knew that was an uncontrollable situation. Outside of the fact that, honestly, daggone Ashtray had a gun in the cereal box, ready to tune him up.
Look.
I mean, Ashtray was ready. He was ready. Like, we saw this with the other guy from last week.
Oh,
he was ready. He don't care who this person is. You looking like you gonna do something to my brother? Oh, it's on. It's on and popping. Like, don't.
if they ain't a little bit more of that cereal hand and dig so deep, that he would have been gone. Because I don't think he's waiting for anybody to pull anything out. I don't think he going from there.
Can I just say real quick, Eric Dane, he was oh my gosh, he was on Grey's Anatomy, and just seeing him in this role, I'm just oh my gosh, it's so different, but I love it. It's so different.
Dude, what kind of character did he play on Grey's Anatomy?
He was McSteamy. So McDreamy was oh my gosh. He was that guy was married to Meredith, and then he was married to he was in a relationship ironically with Meredith's sister Lexi. Parallels, I can't. But yeah. So
this is a different role for him?
Yes, very, very different role.
So I think Nate's dad also went there to scope out what the real story was and seeing what was going on. Because I like at the end where he was like, so a drug dealer just randomly beats you up, like something else is. And I think he was trying to play it, but Nate gave a perfect story to kind of cover that kind of, oh, what's going on? You saw a look in his face, and when you're guilty and you feel ashamed of something, it's very plausible to believe that thing that you know you shouldn't have been doing is the thing that's causing all this trouble. So yeah, that's why I think they're going to find a different way to shut him up. But I will say that behavior is what gets people who think they tough shot.
Right,
like that behavior is what gets people killed, thinking you could big steamy whatever, because he steamy in the background. That was going to get you shot. Even a bullet hole smoking from your chest. That's how steamy you about to be. So yeah, that whole thing. You know what? I don't know if it's the same director from both episodes, but the way they frame things and the anxiety they give you from how they frame things is on point for these two episodes. On point.
Yeah, because it started off like the most sweetest thing. Lexi was like going through in her head how the first time Rue had an OD moment that she didn't say anything. She was telling Rue like, you need to stop, and then she just walked away, and she felt away, and she was kind of like felt the same way about Fez, like she starts to like him, but she was like, all right, I'm gonna muster up to say something to him. She gets there, she sees the crazy crackhead chick in the background.
Oh.
And she kind of just froze up. She froze the mess up.
Yeah, I will say real quick, the what was it? Because we're talking about when the father went to the store, right? First off, I feel like the father, how should I put this? Like, the father just went there just on some scare tactics type shit. Okay, I think that that was his intention anyway. But I think that was his whole purpose of being there. I don't think the father, even if it was just Fez in the store, I think pretty much the exact same sequence would have happened. So it was a real intriguing moment. Though the first time you've seen it is nerve-wracking, because I for sure thought the dad had a gun. I for sure thought he was getting blown right the fuck away. So Fez and his little homeboy Ashtray, they weren't playing none of that. This man was seconds away from having his life erased. So that's how I interpreted the sequence. But it's very interesting to think of like where this could be leading to. But nowhere good with the dad. That's for sure.
if that scene was at the end of like the season, like I'd be like, oh, I don't know what's about to happen. Like that scene was like the last scene of the last episode of the season. I'd have expected like bodies, like bodies.
Right. Yeah. The last frame you see is just blood on the ground. You don't know whose blood it is because, I mean, so this is the thing, Jor-El, and maybe that's me assessing the dad based on Nate. These are men that are not just insecure within themselves. Like they are not mentally sound. And, you know, for him, yeah, it's a steer tactic kind of thing, but it also is a place of control. And he believes outside of the Jules situation, he could probably get away with anything. And I wouldn't put it past him to be like, oh, shoot, I don't know what happened. This guy, he already had an altercation with my son. He pulled a gun on me and the gun went off. And he in his head, he might be able to get away with it. That might be what he was thinking. I don't know, but I wouldn't put it past him because he's Nate's dad. Like, I mean, so it's kind of like, I really don't know. But to y'all's point, where is this going? How is Nate going to use his dad like a bullet? You know what I'm saying? Because there's a reason why he's setting things up the way he is. It's almost like chess that we can't see the next move that's going to happen. Yeah, go ahead, Nat.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I was, and I mentioned this earlier because we were talking randomly because we watched the show, and I'm like, Nate's mom knew to leave well enough alone, but Dad, because he needed that control, like you mentioned, he had to like put his nose into a situation that really didn't concern him, and now he's in this and now Nate's pulled him into this.
Yep.
Like now he's in it.
Yep.
Speaking of mom, do you think she was conditioned to leave things alone? Do you think she's conditioned to turning a blind eye to certain behaviors or certain acts and things like that in that household?
Probably. Yep. And like Sam said, like they both have this control issue and it's a generational curse, so to speak, because Nate even mentioned that his granddad was tough on his dad and now his dad is, treating him like, he treats him. And so it's a cycle. It is a vicious cycle, and it's continuing with Nate. He's probably 10 times worse than his dad. Yeah.
Like Nate is one of those.
That's a great point.
Like if he could get away with it, killing his dad because he can't deal with himself, he probably would. Like it's. I think that's the levels that I don't know these two individuals. But
could you imagine Nate with that amount of power? Like, can you imagine if Nate became his dad in like 10 years, how much power he would have and still be a Nate? Like, oh my gosh.
I mean, considering where we're going, like he's already in a life of privilege right now. It won't take long for him to be in the position that his dad is in, and he's a psychopath.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't interrupt you, Sam. I'm sorry. I said that.
No, you're good. I'm just trying to make sure we tackle all the things because we're going deep on the Nate situation, which is the highlight of the episode. But we do got to bring up the situation with Rue and Jules, and and to Jor-El's point, like they're cute and perfect for each other, but for how long? It's I don't know. It's a ticking time bomb because I kid you not, it's only been 12 hours. They just got back together, and the moment they meet each other, Rue looks over her side. It's like, "Oh, flip! This dude's ready to end my life." And what's the new kid's name? I forget his name.
Elliot
is at their school, and Elliot, he does drugs, and it seems as though what Allie had said, in their conversation is that eventually the drugs are going to drive her to something that she's not going to have control over. She's going to be something that she has no control over what the actions are going to be, because now it's driven her from, okay, she wanted to be with Jules. She got Jules back. She got everything she wanted, but she needs drugs. And this guy has the drugs. And she's attracted to the fact that he has drugs freely without any expectations. And he doesn't put any expectations on her to not do drugs. So I think that she might actually start liking him. And unfortunately, that is going to go into a whole different ripple cycle, because on the Jules episode, there's a codependency there, but then there's also this concern and blocking. And so Jules immediately was kind of picking up the vibes, and like she just went to the bathroom and started crying because for whatever reason, she's like, oh man, what's going on? And the insecurities just set in, and Jules just eventually, you know, kind of just took that Rue is avoiding her because of this boy, which technically is true, but I don't know what that's going to drive Jules to do, because I'll bring up the bowling alley thing in a second, but just from y'all's perspective, what's going on with Rue and Jules and Elliot, the new love triangle that shouldn't be?
So, I mean, look, as long as Rue and Jules are together, it ain't going nowhere good. Okay, I almost don't even know if there's anything else I can really add to that. But with her and Elliot, that is an intriguing point. I never considered them being romantically involved, but I guess maybe if I had to speculate or predict what might happen next, like maybe something, I don't know, Titanic happens, something seismic happens that goes wrong between Rue and Jules, and they kind of seemingly gets, you know, sever ties, and maybe she goes and be with Elliot for a bit. Maybe something like that. It's really hard to tell. It's a really bizarre fucking show. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, it's one of the weirdest fucking shows I've ever watched in my entire life. But because I really don't watch these kind of shows like this at all. So I'm not really sure. But I guess that'd be my best crack at where the Jules and Rue, or they can't last. I'm so sorry, fans. They can't last. Sorry.
If you
good.
No, I was gonna say, if you think this is a good ending, you have not been paying attention. like
100%.
I don't know. I think they're finding the drama for those characters this season, because of course, like, Nate's stuff is the big thing, right? I kept thinking about, like, the real love interest in here is like that 50 Cent song of Baltimore. Like, it's really the drugs, the love. That's who you love triangle in, when it's Rue and the drugs. And that's what you worry about, not this boy. But I keep thinking about how it's doing a good job of showing how, because she's an attractive young lady, she gets access to these free drugs, free environments, things like that. And it shows a real danger that a lot of our young women find themselves in, because if she's some guy, she's not finding these free drugs everywhere, things like that. That puts her in those. Again, I still feel scared for her safety in a lot of different ways, or what she's going to do for these drugs eventually when she doesn't have these free drugs being handed to her, being friends with everybody. Because all she is 2 connects away from having to find drugs anywhere she can. So you know, if Nate's dad takes care of her homie connect, and then you got a little homie connected, whatever happens with that, like, that leaves her in a real bad spot. And that's what I keep thinking about that. As far as the love triangle, it feels like manufactured kind of drama for them to have for this season. Not saying they can't go anywhere great. It's just that's where it's at. They've been together, like you said, 2 minutes, and they had to find something to fight over.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely that classic trope. But there is an interesting question that Elliot posed to Rue, and I wrote it down. He asked, "Is there a bigger feeling than love?" And he was like, she said, loss. And he was like, "What you mean?" He was like, and then it went down this rabbit hole of what loss is and what it means and how she defines it. And I feel like that's the way that her mind is going. Ali is right. Like, she's on a ticking time bomb, and I don't think she cares about her livelihood, and I don't think she cares where things are going to go, because Elliot was like, "I don't know if we're good for each other. Like, I don't think that I'm a good influence." And she was like, "I like that." And it reminded me of Jesse and Jane from Breaking Bad. Like, Jesse had literally just got sobered up, and this chick, she was like in the whatchamacallit, and then, you know, of course, she OD'd later, but like, Jesse was going down a very bad path. And it just reminds me of that same exact relationship. And it's sad because Rue, to me, when it gets to that point of desperation, she could honestly be the most deadly person in this show, because we haven't seen her completely in a desperation situation. We've seen flashbacks. We've seen her have moments or manic moments, you know, but we've never had her be completely cut off from drugs and what that actually means. And if it wasn't for this man right here, she might already been down that line, because I love Coleman Domingo. I love what he did to her in this episode. He saw her at A&E and he was like, "Oh, you still on that ticking time bomb. You still trying to, the suicide run."
Yeah.
And he took her back home. I love that sequence because it just showed how much, how like young people, sometimes they just tune you out. She wasn't trying to hear nothing this man was trying to say. Like, right. She was like, I just want to get back. I want to get back to my drugs. Reality, I just went to the A&E because I could. And so he brings her home. Like, yeah, no, I'm a 54-year-old crackhead. Like, I ain't gonna sit there and, I would talk to you. And then she was like, yeah, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing crazy. He was like, wait, don't say anything about you still taking drugs. And I was like, I love it. Get her. But I was curious y'all's thoughts on Ali and, Coleman's performance, and then also what does that mean for Rue's character, I guess, moving forward. And again, I can't remember who asked the question, is like, who's going to be the villain of the story, and I kind of put in the chat, I was like, well, I think Rue is. I really do. I really think she's going down this road that is going to be something that she's going to not only push everyone away, but she's going to be one of the most dangerous people, because she's going to want what she wants. And I don't know if it's more so she wants drugs more than not wanting to live, but I think that eventually it's going to weigh up this way eventually. But y'all can.
I think Rue has a really high social intelligence. And I'm sorry, did you want to go? I can wait.
No, go ahead. I'll go after.
I think Rue has really high social intelligence, and people like that who get away with a lot of different things, they need somebody in their life who's going to call them on their BS, right? Not going to take their BS and just tell them how straight it is and call them out on it. And that's why maybe we all need that in our lives at some point. So that was really good, but interesting. But what I also thought was interesting is when she was talking about the loss of her life and talking about her dad died, and the guy was with her, she was like, well, honestly, even if he was alive, I'd probably be doing the same. And taking away her agency and her choice and what's going on and how it affected her, I thought was pretty interesting in how she was viewing herself and giving herself excuses for some of the decisions and situations she's being placed in. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I agree with that. I did think that line was an interesting line because, everyone's thinking, well, the loss of her dad propelled, or started this, domino effect of her taking drugs. Well, she's saying it wouldn't have mattered if he was alive or not. If she had, decided to experiment, she would fall down that rabbit hole either way. Even her dad wouldn't have been able to save her. And that's deep. It's like she doesn't want to be saved. And Ali is kind of like a ally, but also like an alibi a little bit, because he's willing to keep her secret. And that's why he's like, well, let me talk to your mom so that way she doesn't get suspicious that you are still using. Like, she needs to know that you're progressing. She can't just take your word for it. And that's, I think, where he was coming from with that. And I don't know why Rue wasn't even thinking along those lines. Like, she just didn't want him to do anywhere near her mom. But I was like, okay, sir, meeting moms. I don't know. There was chemistry with that too. I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen with that. But earlier with Jules, yeah, that's not gonna last long. It's like, yeah, she's gonna have to choose, and she's gonna choose drugs. And with Elliot, I don't know if it's gonna be a sexual thing, but I don't know if Jules thinks it's drugs, just her interested in Elliot, or a combo. I just don't know what Jules is thinking, other than that she doesn't like it. Like, she feels like something is going on. She just doesn't know what it is. And that's building the insecurity. And that's why she did what she did in this episode at the bowling alley, or she's planting seeds, so to speak, or she's trying to fulfill that need that she has. So I did see the trailer for season 2, and because of what she said in episode 1 about not that there's not a lot of female drug dealers, I have a feeling Rue is going to try to be a drug dealer.
Can't get high on your own supply, but
I don't think she'll be the most successful drug dealer, but you never know.
I think she's going to attempt, though, and I think that's going to create, even like you said, it's going to create a situation that's going to happen
all over again. I'm telling y'all.
You said something interesting though. Do you think the sponsors' boundaries with her have been blurred? Like they're no longer effective? Like you think he's crossing boundaries with her? And because you said he kept her secret, and sometimes I think like, you know, the parents don't even do everything. I've never been a specific drug counselor, but I'm just curious. Do you think he crossed some boundaries with her and how he treats her versus how he would treat somebody else that he was sponsoring?
So I think that because, and he said it, like, and even that holiday episode, he has so much love for his girls that he lost because of his addiction. And I think that he's looking in Rue and somebody that he can try to save because he doesn't have the ability of even being in his own girl's lives. So I think that there is a boundary that's crossed there. But I think a part of why he did what he did is he also it's a level of control, because for him it's like, yo, I got this over you. Like, I know your mom now. Like, I can, if you do something out correct, I can just literally blow the whistle on you right now. And I think a part of that was also to gain her trust, because the reality is, to me, Rue, the reason why she was so manic is that she was about to lose control of the situation. She had fear that, man, they might put me back in rehab. Man, I might be away from drugs again. And I think that was what it really was. I think it was a lot of fear. And she was like, because if he would have outed her right then and there, Rue would never have talked to that man again. Period. Like, it would not have been a relationship ever again between them. And on top of that, like, he would have something to lose to it. Is that ethically right? I don't think so. But I understand the reason why he did it. But the other thing that I wanted to bring up is that going back to season 1, the very first few episodes, she talked about how she ended up taking drugs. Like, it was, you know, leading up to her dad getting sick, but she's got a lot of psychological issues that are really mental imbalances that she actually has. Like, because of all those issues that she's actually having, that she needed different drugs to even cope. Like, she didn't want to live anyway because of how her body actually processed everything. Like, she was dealing with extreme anxiety. She was dealing with I can't remember all the different things that they diagnosed with her, but they talked about it before she even started getting addicted. And so I think that's why she meant I'd probably end up down this road anyway, because I was in a lot of pain because of my body, because of everything that's going on with me anyway, mentally and emotionally. But that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think, it's funny, now that you've been talking, I think maybe, well, first off, I don't think that she could be the most villainous person on the show. That's reserved for like a Nate nigga or something like that. But I do think she may become, or maybe already is, the most tragic character on the show. I think she may become that, unfortunately, for her and fans of Rue. Sadly, I definitely sense sort of, I could totally see her life becoming some kind of Kurt Cobain kind of ending, something like that. But because you can tell that Sam, the director, is very dedicated to telling a story, kind of like mixing surrealism with realism, a little bit leaning more so on the real, so. No, not too many happy endings here, but I do wonder if there may be something that does happen to sort of cut Rue off. Maybe not permanently from drugs, but it is intriguing that we have not seen her sort of kind of like hardcore, like, no, I'm not doing drugs today, I'm not doing drugs next week. I would love to kind of see what that story looks like, but I think to get there, and I think we may, no matter how fleeting it is, maybe something with like her mother, or maybe I don't know. I'm like spitballing here. Maybe Ali or even her sister like dying in her arms, or maybe like Jules dying or something. I do think something is coming that is going to, at least for a time, is going to have to force sobriety. and her addiction is going to kind of just evolve into sort of like a just a different style addiction. You know, maybe somehow she finds a way of channeling all that addiction just simply literally into a person that hopefully won't be Jules or something like that. You know what I mean? I do think something like that genuinely is coming for sure. I don't know if it, again, I don't know if it's someone dying in her arms. I don't know if it's her waking up and she kind of bumps her head into the side of a cell and she's like, oh shit. But something like that I do believe is coming for sure. 100%.
Yeah. Nat, did you have something?
I know we haven't really talked about Maddie and Kat, and I want to try to talk about them because they had some stuff going on this episode too. I'm just like, what y'all doing?
Yeah, no, go for it.
With Maddie, the whole babysitter job, like she wants to pretend, you know, wearing this woman's clothes, and then homegirl's like, oh, can you unzip my dress? And this rubbing the hand, what? What is going to go on with that? I'm getting predator vibes. I'm like, Maddie,
that's definitely
get away. I don't want you in a situation that is detrimental, so to speak. Like, you don't need a predator in your life. You already had Nate. Nate's enough. You don't need another predator, sweetie. But for her, she was even thinking about taking Nate back. I'm like, and are you suspicious? Is the thought crossing your mind, the fact that Nate and Cassie did not answer their phones? Are you suspecting anything? Like, I just don't know. She ain't
let her mind go there.
Yeah, and with Kat, I mean, I feel like she was trying to find herself last season, and now that she's in a stable relationship, she's wondering if what she was that pretend. Like, was she trying to fake it till she made it, and she wound up lucky enough to find someone that actually cares about her, but at the end of the day, she doesn't really love herself enough to. And just because someone loves you doesn't mean that they're still right for you. Like, and I don't know if she feels like this is the first time someone's really loved her other than like her parents. I don't know her parents' situation. We don't really know her stability on that front either. So it'll just really interesting to see if they even explore that. With everything else going on, I just hope we explore that with her this season. Like, I just don't know. Like, I can relate in some ways. I just hope they explore that this season. Like, her actually really learning to love herself. It's kind of like she pretended last season. Let's really do the work in loving yourself here.
Yeah, that sequence with Kat.
Car Drogo killing her boy.
Oh, with the Viking? Oh, child. Khal Drogo look-alike Viking. Yeah.
That might be the only sequence so far in the show that I don't think the show should be canceled or anything, but that was the only sequence so far in the show that intriguingly, I was like, man, I'm not vibing with it. And granted, you're not supposed to, but like, man, oh man, it almost felt gratuitous. You know what I mean? Almost.
Yeah, it was
a little bit.
It was a bit much.
At least she hyped my boy up and made it seem like he was one that took her. She's like, oh, good for him. Little man had it. At least she ain't talking bad about him. But damn,
poor Ethan. Like, it's just, like, this is the first person that actually respects her. And again, other than like the other guys that she was trying to hook up with last season, like, they didn't really respect her. They were pretty much using her for her body.
Yeah.
Same thing with Cassie, just in a different way. And so it's just
not ready.
She's not ready for that stable relationship, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know that she wants it. And it's sad because it seems like she's trying to punish herself. And when she was having those that dream of not even a dream, I don't know what it was, but all these different voices telling her, no, you're beautiful, you're this. Like, everybody had an opinion. And she's like, look, you look beautiful. I want to be able, I'm not healthy, you're healthy. And like, I think that the way that they framed that from a directing standpoint, that was an amazing sequence. Like, And I think that the actress that played the role of Kat, she acted it very well.
Yeah.
It was just like mentally in her mind, that's what's going on. And I was like, yeah, she needs some actual help. Like, she really needs some actual counseling, because I don't know where this is going to lead her, because eventually she's going to push this kid away. And I don't know where it's going to pull her to. Is it going to pull her back to the dark web? Is it going to pull her to pornography? Like, I mean, these kids now, I don't know. This show is so dark. I don't know where these characters are going to go. And to your point with Maddie, the old chick from Titans, I don't know what she's on.
Wait, I was like, which one?
I mean, we've already gotten a Predator with Nate's dad, so now we're gonna have a female Predator.
The chick that plays Dove, that's the same woman. The chick that plays Dove is the same exact girl. That
little thumb rub. That was creepy.
That was I don't know. That was skeevy. I was like, I felt I need my skin to feel right. And it's the crazy thing. Like, Maddie was like trying to, she's so intrigued about having a baby, and like, this is the thing that I want to talk to y'all about. I think that's what it's a good place to close. Were any of you guys concerned that Jules, in her insecurity and jealousy and the situation with Rue, do you think that she would do something as crazy as try to get with Maddie? Because they met up at the bowling alley because Ethan and Kat were together the whole entire time, and Jules was trying to tell Maddie something. Maddie was trying to let her know everything what was going on. She wanted to get back with Nate, and like Jules was like, no, don't get back with him. Like, I wish you could see how beautiful you really are. And I was like, Jules, please don't do that. Don't do what you did season 1. I was just curious y'all's perspective. Like, do y'all think that Jules would be capable of doing something like? Because ultimately, if she does, if Maddie really knew what Nate thinks of Jules, and they hypothetically speaking did something, that would be one of the most messed up hookup relationships ever, because they don't know how much they're. Well, actually, Jules knows. Jules knows everything. No, don't do it, Jules.
Wait,
don't
so you're asking would Jules do anything with Maddie?
Yes, I straight up am. Asking the question.
Because the answer is yes. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think. I don't know. I don't think Jules knows what Jules wants. I don't think Jules knows that she wants to be with a man. I don't know if she knows that she wants to be with a fucking panda bear or what. I don't think she fucking knows. All right. I think she's like totally lost. Luckily, not as tragically lost as Rue, but still plenty lost. So yeah, that might. The version of that might legitimately happen for sure. That might
hurt people. So I can see a lot of revenge hookups happening.
I could totally see Jules and Maddie like shit faced, and like Jules being like, "Hey, I learned this thing from Rue," and then they just start making out. Like, oh fuck.
I don't know.
That's a powerful picture.
Feel like I don't know, and I feel like it's a two-pronged thing here with Maddie, because you have this potential person that, parent that she babysits with Mika Kelly, and then you have Jules. So is she going to explore that side of herself? Like, has she really been interested in women in general? Like, since she's been with Nate, I just don't know. I don't know if she would roll with that, really.
I don't put anything past any one of these characters. And the thing is, if she did get with, Jules, if Maddie got with Jules, I don't even know who Nate would be more mad at. Would he be more mad at Jules, or would he be more mad at Maddie? And we're talking about hypothetical. All you guys that are watching this live, these are all hypotheticals. I don't know if it's going to come to fruition.
He would lash out at
Jules. What we're
definitely lash out at Jules before he would lash out at Maddie.
Right, and especially if Maddie still has the upper hand on him. He would definitely punish Jules or find a way to punish Jules. Mm-hmm. And that could be through Rue. That could be through a lot of different ways. I love this picture. This is a powerful kind of, look at the disgust on her face.
Yeah.
That's from episode 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, season 1, yeah. For sure.
Season 1? Yeah, no, okay, so with Jules and Maddie, I do think she wants to feel needed in a general sense. And right now, Rue doesn't seem like she needs her. So since Maddie is feeling like insecure about a lot of things, and she's warning her not to get back with Nate, because you know how Nate is, he's toxic as fuck. And so it's, I think she, at the end of the day, even more so just wants to feel needed and feels like she can help someone, and then they need each other. Like, I don't know, again, like you said, it's a codependent thing that she needs. So how that manifests itself, we just don't know.
Right.
There's gonna be a one night stand, damn it. There's gonna be a one night stand. Watch. I don't know about relationship, but hey.
Yeah, probably one night stand if anything.
These kids all need help, man. The only relationship I'm rooting for right now is Lexi and Fez. Let them have a happy. Let them have a happy.
Oh man.
Okay, so I'm wondering here. Did he call her? Did they even talk? Like, okay, did he at least call her first? Oh, did she just say, okay, I'm just gonna show initiative here in a general sense and just go to the store that
she 100% showed initiative, and she just showed
put the lipstick on, and then she saw that freaking crackhead. Like, oh.
Yeah, I was actually kind of hoping that he would at least call her first, but you know.
Yeah, nah, Fez has got way too much going on. He's like
I know.
like a female crackhead. His brother is mad at him. He got this crazy dad that's trying to kill him. He just beat down this kid that's a psychopath. Like Fez got a lot going on. He's a simple man, but he trying to just hold it down right now. So
no, she's just living with me for a minute. No, it's cool. Oh, she's living with you.
And it just makes me wonder if Faye wasn't even in the picture, if he would have at least called Lexi, even with everything that's going on. Faye is whatever her name is. She's a cock block. She's a total cock block.
Yeah, she is.
I'm like, why is she there? She killed like the manager of a hotel. He had no one else he could have called. It was only Fez, really?
You're on the run. Why are you sitting in a convenience store out in the open? Like
right. Like, wait, I don't understand. I mean, go away, Faye. You're not needed. Go away.
Girl she's a liability because
she is a liability.
She asked him a dangerous question that if Nate honestly got hold of her, because she asked the question, she was like, "Did you really kill Mouse?" I was like, "Chick, why are you having that conversation right now?" And we know, Mouse's homie was her boyfriend, but it's like if she let that slip, and we know Ashtray is the one that killed him, but Fez would take the rap for his brother.
I don't advocate murder, but she a loose end. She a loose end. I do not advocate
okay, but it has to look like an accident, like for real. Like it needs to look like an accident, and the boyfriend needs to witness it so it looks like an accident.
Wait,
otherwise he's going to retaliate and he's going to create a whole bunch of mess. We don't need that mess. We already have enough mess from last season. We don't need more mess. So Faye needs to disappear.
About solutions.
We're gonna
talking about solutions, Sam. That's what we talking about. We're talking about solutions. It's a problem.
Listen, sometimes
hopefully you guys
shit happens. Murder happens sometimes. You know what I mean?
We're gonna be back.
Nat, if I have a criminal conspiracy, I trust you, Nat. I feel you, Nat. Like this is
okay, so similar to what happened with the night manager. She went off, right? So let the same thing happen, but let the boyfriend at least be a witness to it. So at least it still looks like an accident. Come on now,
Nat,
he can't retaliate if it's an accident.
Stop. We're done.
Listen, people,
y'all enjoy this discussion.
We at JVS.
First off, listen. Hold on a second. Listen. Violence. First off, people get murdered every day. First off. Second off, listen. If there's not, it can happen quick. You know what I mean?
Like same thing needs to happen with Nate. I mean, come on now. It needs to look like an accident. Otherwise, Daddy can't do shit. Like no.
Y'all are wild, bro. We're gonna end the show,
bro. People get shot every day, bro, and no one knows what happened to them.
Hopefully, y'all enjoyed this discussion.
Overdoses happen to junkies all the time. I'm just
next
saying.
week,
take her out.
Time 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all have a good one.